There are many polarizing issues facing Americans right now. Issues like social and racial justice, gun reform, civil rights, LGBT rights, and women's rights. With all of these incredibly important issues, it's very easy for other, just as important issues to fly under the radar. One such issue is gerrymandering. For those who don't know, the legal definition of gerrymander, according to the Law Dictionary by Stephen H. Giffis, is to create a civil division of an unusual shape within a particular locale, for improper purposes. In other words, gerrymandering is when one political party divides and designs state districts to benefit their party over the other, giving them more representation in lawmaking bodies. According to the Washington Post, districts in states like Texas, Florida, North Carolina, and Virginia are all gerrymandered to some degree. At this point you might be saying, why can't the United States Congress just step in and divide the lines so that they're drawn fairly? First of all, getting Congress to do anything these days is like trying to move a boulder up a mountain. And second of all, for the most part, they can't. Here's why.
I propose that we draw the maps to give a partisan advantage to 10 Republicans and 3 Democrats, because I do not believe it's possible to draw a map with 11 Republicans and 2 Democrats.
State constitutions, and every state has one, are set up so that individual state legislators set the districts every 10 years after the census is taken. As a result, the federal government can't really intervene without it becoming an issue of states' rights. Now, the reason I, and many others, feel that gerrymandering is a very important issue is that it results in unequal representation for states afflicted by it. Additionally, both parties are perpetrators in instances like the Virginia state legislature, and support gerrymandering when they have a majority and want to keep it.
Instead of voters electing their representatives to Congress, we're seeing politicians choose who their constituencies are and who their voters are, and that's a betrayal of American values.
Gerrymandered states directly contradict ideas of equal representation. Whether it's members of a political party, racial, or ethnic minority, someone always suffers. When the majority of people in power are white, they may try to draw districts so that even if a state's population is made up mostly of minorities, they get far less representation than white people do. Nowadays, the majority of gerrymandering done is to keep one party underrepresented, which in turn results in lack of representation due to race or ethnicity. In recent years, many more people have started to focus on gerrymandering. When a state legislator flips from one party to the other, many are hopeful initially that the party which has suffered from gerrymandering will make it a priority to undo the gerrymandered districts. Recently, Virginia, which for decades was a Republican stronghold, has become a Democratic state, with both U.S. senators, the governor, and both state legislators going to the Democrats. When this happened, many were hopeful that Democrats would work quickly to redesign the districts fairly. But many Democratic representatives were now in favor of gerrymandering, now that it benefited them. To see what others thought about this, we asked some people to tell us what they thought.
My observation over the years has been that whatever party is in power gerrymanders to benefit them in the long run.
I think gerrymandering is bad because it ends up disenfranchising certain people by making the votes of some people count more and the votes of other people count less.
Despite this, many Democrats and Republicans are in favor of getting rid of gerrymandering. In Virginia, so many in fact that a bipartisan committee composed of both lawmakers and citizens was created to deal with this issue. To comment on this amendment and on the gerrymandering issue as a whole, we interviewed Bruce Falk, a volunteer with Virginia 2021, an anti-gerrymandering organization.
As political parties shift in ideology, as regions shift in ideology, the mix of beliefs and preferences and priorities change in any given area. And what is and nor is a single issue necessarily going to dominate. There are some people who believe very strongly about abortion, and so will vote entirely on the basis of their representative.
Gerrymandering is one of the biggest problems facing America right now, one that needs to be fixed. It results in unequal representation and is something both parties do. In order to fix it, you need to call on your state and local representatives to fix this. There needs to be a bipartisan effort to redesign districts so that everyone is represented fairly. And protections need to be put in place so that the lines are drawn fairly for years to come.